Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here at Red Hills Toyota, Hamilton for reviewing the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser. For the American and the Canadian market, this is the all-new Toyota Land Cruiser. But in the domestic market of Japan, this is the Land Cruiser Prado. But as the LC300 doesn't come to America and Canada anymore, this is the biggest SUV. Not the biggest, but the second biggest SUV called the Land Cruiser that's being sold. So let's start this full in-depth review. Toyota. Toyota is a Japanese automobile manufacturer that started their company at 1933, and it was run by the son of the founder. At 1929, before the company even started, the founder's son went to the United States and Canada and studied about gasoline-powered engines, how to make them, how to make those more efficient, how to build cars. And then when he came back to Japan, at 1933, they started their company, Toyota. And from the start, Toyota is a company that's building gasoline-powered engines that are mostly reliable and secondly, the most efficient engines in the world. But Toyota's first car was a mind-blowing car. At 1936, Toyota released the Toyota AA. That was the first car that was ever built by Toyota. And that car didn't get as good selling as Toyota's car now, but it was one of the most top sellers for a sedan at the time. And that was one of the first car that was built by a Japanese automobile manufacturer. Now let's come to the Land Cruiser. The Toyota Land Cruiser is complicated. Why? Because if we talk about American and Canadian market, the cars are different. If we talk about Japanese market, the cars are different. As we are reviewing in Canada, let's talk about American and Canadian markets. The Land Cruiser was really popular. Everybody knows. Great off-road vehicle, very reliable, powerful engine, looks good. But for the 2020, from the start till 2024, the Land Cruiser used to come to Canada and America, but they pulled the plug for the LC300 because they had something else in their mind. The Land Cruiser Prado, as called in the Japanese market, didn't get as much demand in America and Canada because the big Land Cruiser was here. But the big Land Cruiser didn't do as well as the competitors did because the LX570 was mostly demanded here over the Land Cruiser. So that's why they came up with this. They pulled the plug for the LC300, but they released the all-new Land Cruiser for America and Canadian markets. And now this is one of the most top seller SUVs in the Canadian and American markets, because now you don't have to think about any Lexus or any stuff, but still it has a cousin brother that looks identical but has a different name. And let's start by showing you guys the key. The key is pretty similar to ordinary Toyota cars. You have the Toyota logo, the panic button, unlock and lock. And at the back, you have nothing. Typical key for the Land Cruiser, for the Japanese domestic model, it actually says Land Cruiser at the back. So let's come to the front. The Land Cruiser comes with two different models or two different variants for the car's exterior. One with the square lights, as you can see on the photos, but one is the circle lights. The circle lights are here to give you a flashback of the first generation of the Land Cruiser, but the square lights bring the modern design for the Land Cruiser. So it's up to you which one you want. But overall, the square ones look better, but these have better performance. For the front of the car, you can see they kept it very basic and more towards off-roady kind of vibe to it. That's why it has a very nice black grille that says Toyota, it's just written. And after that, Toyota actually called this the Heritage Grille, as you can see. Below that, you have the number plate slot where you have the Red Hills plate, and then below that you have the front fog light. The car has parking sensors. It has opening at the front for cooling the engine. And from the previous generation of the Land Cruiser, the engine size is much more smaller. So now it gets the same engine as the Highlander. So that's nice. I'm going to get inside, turn the lights on first. The car does have keyless entry. And here we get inside. So as you can see, the headlights are really nice because you have the daytime running lights surrounding here. It says Land Cruiser inside. You have the main projector setup. Beside that, you have the car's hazards with 2 more lights as the daytime running lights and the side reflector light integrated inside the lights. So that's another cool feature. But if you go below that, you can see the LED fog lamps are also on, and overall the front of the car looks really nice. But if you come all the way to the other side, it's basically the same thing, but you can see how nice it is. And it has functional vents here, so air can come from the front and then come out from the wheel sides. It's overall a pretty nice car to look at the front. It has rain sensing wipers. You can see it has a camera right there for the automatic braking assist and the lane keeping assist. And now I'm going to show you what is the powertrain of the Toyota Land Cruiser. Now I'm going to open the hood from the driver's side, so let's quickly do that. So here is a button, and then I can just come at the front and just lift the hood. As you can see, typical Canadian weather's back, the cold winter. So let's just quickly get this up. Hands are frozen, but still. And it doesn't have hydraulic struts. So let's get this stand and then put that there. Now let's come to the engine. It's a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that is producing a decent amount of horsepower considering this is a naturally aspirated engine. 126 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, and all this power are going to the 4 of the wheels by a 8-speed automatic transmission. Overall, you can see the engine bay is nice. It's decently organized, I would say. You have the intake right here. You can see the fuse box and the car's battery at the back. But it would be more nice if they added a hybrid trim to it. But a lot of people don't like hybrid cars. But let me just tell you this, Toyota makes the best hybrid cars in the world. So that's why I said it. So now let's close the hood. So there we go. And if we come closer, you can see there are more ruggedy trims here, because you have to keep this in mind. This is actually a big competitor of the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. So that's why it needs all of that for doing that off-road stuff. Now let me show you the car's side profile. Now we are at the side profile. Before we get into it, I want to thank Sam at Red Hills Toyota for arranging this car for me. So if you need any Toyota cars, you know who to contact with. And I'm going to leave all those details in the description. And let me just tell you, this is not a brand new unit. This is a certified unit with only 300 kilometers. It's not as much. That's like a demo kind of kilometer. Now let's come to the wheels. So the wheels are nice. It goes with the exterior, and then these plasticky trim makes it look much more off-road vehicle type. But let's look at these wheels, because these wheels are 245 70 R18s with 6-piston brakes at the front with double Usman suspension and coil springs. If you get up from there, you can see the exterior mirror are automatically folded and unfolded. You have the hazard lights here, very modernized, very nice. It's on the door instead of the A-pillar for aerodynamics. The window trims are in these plasticky trim to match all of this trim, and you have a physical side step, so no deployable things, so this is not going to break. And then if you come at the back, you can see you have the same wheel, same brakes, but the calipers are a bit smaller, and you have connected suspension at the back instead of individual. For the fuel tank, it's typical Toyota. You have to get inside the car. There is a button located here, and then if you just press this and then come back, you can open the fuel tank and fill it up. As it's a 2.4 liter, it should be fuel efficient, but you never know. It depends on your driving and how you treat your car. Now let me show you the car's rear. So the Land Cruiser. The back is very visible that it's a Land Cruiser. Why? It says Land Cruiser right here. It says Toyota at the center. Very big words. So it's very nice how it looks. And then if you go all the way there, you have the iForce Max written here. That means it's 4-wheel drive. You have the rear windshield wiper that is automatically and ring sensing. You have the upper stop brake light here, but what are these clamps here? A lot of people have those questions. The Land Cruiser or the Land Cruiser Prado always had this feature where you can open the rear window, because the boot always used to open from here. So when you had like tight spaces, you couldn't access the boot. That's why it always had this feature of just opening the rear windshield so you could just put stuff in. so you don't have to open the hood. But for this generation of the LC250, you don't have to worry about that, because the boot actually opens as a normal boot as the LC300. So if you just press this button, there it opens up. You have almost 600 liters of storage. This car has the interior weather mats, so that's why it has the covering here. It says Land Cruiser. Over this side, you have some trim here. You can get that off. You have your tools, and then for putting this back, it's pretty easy. It just clamps back in. And then this is also a 7-seater, if you didn't know, but the seats are folded. This is for a power outlet for carrying a refrigerator or anything. And it also comes with a partial cover, but everything is optional extra. The tailgate isn't powered, but it's optional extra, and you can get the higher trim if you want the power tailgate. Now let's get inside. So we get inside. Foot on the brake, pressing the start button. And this is with the full tail lights, with the hazard, and this is with the reverse. Pretty nice. Now let me show you the car's rear seats. I'm going to show you the rear tail lights. So here we do that. Pretty nice weather out, but you can see the rear tail lights are pretty nice. And as this is only produced for America and North America, that's why you have the red hazards. But other European countries have stupid yellow hazards that are pretty dumb. But tail lights are really nice. Everything is LED. There's nothing called bulb here. Now let's show you the car's rear seats. Before we get inside, you can see the opening is pretty alright, I would say. And then after we get inside, knee room's enough, headroom's enough. It has pockets for your magazine holders. It's pretty nice overall. And as we're in Canada, it's so cold, my hands are frozen, so that's why you need coffee everywhere. And it's actually a pretty nice place to sit around and drink a glass of coffee, because you have a very cool armrest that you can put your hand without putting your hand inside the cup holder. You have the rear AC vents here. You have the power sockets here, and it says Land Cruiser at the center. Pretty nice. And overall, it has a very nice visibility of everything. So let me quickly come to the center seat, but before that, the cars get ISOFIX anchor points, so that's good. Center seat is okay. You have a transmission tunnel, but it's manageable. And for the door, it's pretty simple. You have the door handle, you have the window opener, grab handle, you have the bottle holders, and the main speaker. Now let's get inside the car's front. So now we're at the front. You can see the overall dash looks like a car that looks like an off-road vehicle, because you have some plasticky treatment that says Land Cruiser right there. You have a lockable glove box with decent amount of room. You look at the AC vent, it looks like a turbine. And then you go back there, you have your tweeters and stuff all around. You have the SRS airbag right there. You come to the seats are fabric, because this is the baseline. But if you go on the higher trim, the limited, that has leather seats. But it's still comfortable, but it's fabric at the end of the day. If you come at the center, you have a bit of storage here. You have two cup holders, pretty nice, pretty accessible. You have a phone holder here where you can easily slide your phone. It's not wireless charge, but you can keep your phone there, and you can keep the keys here with your charging sockets right there. But you won't need anything because it has a wireless Apple CarPlay, so that's nice. So you can easily just swipe around it, and it's pretty easy to control everything, in my opinion. Now let me show you the car's infotainment system, but before that, let's quickly look at the vanity mirrors, because you can see it's pretty nice. You have a nice mirror as well, but it's pretty small, and you have voice commands on either side. Now let's come to the car's infotainment. Foot on the brake, pressing the start button that's located here, and then the 8-inch touchscreen infotainment system is going to automatically turn on with the Toyota animation. But the bigger screen is better because it comes all the way until here and it looks nicer. But Toyota's infotainment is pretty nice to use. It's built in, and from the baseline to the top line, all of the infotainments are good. You can see Apple CarPlay is wireless. It's pretty nice. You can easily use it. It's pretty accessible. But if we go back to the Toyota's menu, you can obviously use Toyota's subscription usable navigation, or just connect Bluetooth, or you can just go back to Apple CarPlay, or you can go to settings and control all of the different stuff you can. You can make your own profile, that's nice. You have profile information, Bluetooth and device settings. If you go to general settings, you can control a lot of stuff for the infotainment, like the brightness, the font size and all of that. You can control a lot of stuff for the sound system, but this doesn't get the JBL. And you have the vehicle customization information and software upgrades. Pretty nice, pretty cool, but nowadays everybody just uses Apple CarPlay, so there's not a big reason for that. AC vents are nice and at the center. These are your heating seats, and the buttons for the ventilated seats are blank because this is not the highest trim. And overall it's pretty nice to use these controllers because it's pretty handy. And then if you go below that, you have a drive mode selector here, and you can turn that on. You can go to two-wheel drive mode, and then these are your off-road modes: parking, brake hold, traction control, 2 differential lockers, and your high 4 and low 4. Pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. You have a auto dim rear view mirror. You have light placements here that are touch sensitive. And that's pretty much it. Now let's come to the steering, because the steering is completely heated and fully leathered, and it's actually nice to hold in a cold weather because it's completely heated, top, sides, everything. But it's tilt and telescopic. But I think the higher trim has automatic tilt and telescopic. The start button's behind there. If I didn't mention it, these are all your cruise control. These are all the controls for this screen. You have your car's high beam and hazards here, and over this side you have the car's windshield wiper controls and for the blast. Pretty cool. Now let me show you the car's instrument cluster. Foot on the brake, pressing the start button, and then it automatically turns on. The higher trim gets a bigger screen, but this is not a bad looking screen either. You have the car's engine temperature on the left side, you have the car's fuel gauge on the right side, you have the center with your car's speedo, and you can customize this entire thing. So now you can see it has the typical Land Cruiser system, but if you want to configure it, you can do that. So if you want your trip information stuff, you have your trip information here, so it's going at 11.4 liters per 100 kilometers. And then if you want to go to the car safety, you can turn on adaptive cruise control. You can go to your navigation where you have your compass, you have your media, you have some more stuff about your all-wheel drive system, your off-road displays, and this is for the car's overall traction control system. This is for the car's battery voltage and engine oil temperature. This is the car's engine temperature and transmission temperature. This is for the all-wheel drive system once again. Your PSI and your i4 system and your max battery. And this is your normal trip. You have your settings where you can control all the different safety modes and your warnings that this car doesn't have. So I'm going to leave it at the basic that it was because it's a dealership's car and it is available if you want to buy it. It's pretty nice overall. But when you change the driving modes, you can go to sports, it adds a bit of red, and eco adds a bit of green. Let's keep it at sports for the meantime, and I'll show you the car's door. First you have the turbine design EC vent, and then if you go below that, you have the automatic headlights, rear cross traffic alert, and the brightness for the instrument cluster. This is for your AC 120 volt. This is for opening the fuel tank. This is for your towing hinge controller. This is for opening the hood. You have your dead pedal, brake pedal, and gas pedal. And then you can see you have your seat control. Seats are manually adjustable, but the higher trim gets better stuff. Doors are pretty simple. You have the car's door handle, grab handle, window openers, and exterior mirror controls, bottle holders, and speakers. Now let's come out the car because we're pretty much done with the review. So if you liked the review, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks to Red Hill Toyota for providing this car to me so I can do a full in-depth review, and thanks to Sam for arranging this car for me. If you need to buy any Toyota cars, I will recommend you personally to come to Red Hill Toyota Hamilton and talk to Sam, because they have a big inventory of a lot of different cars. They have multiple LCs, Land Cruisers, they have multiple Tundra, they have Tacoma, and then they have a great deal turning on the Toyota Tundra that they're giving $4,000 off. So make sure you get your deals right. Until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.